Namaskar. Myself Dr. Deepti Bisht, Professor, Department of Kaya Chikitsa, Faculty of Ayurved Sciences, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. Today's in this session for class BMS 4th year, I am discussing the topic hyperthyroidism. Let's start the topic. First of all, general introduction. As you know, hyperthyroidism is a condition resulting from the effect of excessive amount of thyroid hormones on the body tissue. There are two terms, thyrotoxicosis and hyperthyroidism. So there is a little difference between these two terms. Thyrotoxicosis implies a state of hyperthyroidism in which the thyroid hormone is toxic to the tissues, producing clinical features, while hyperthyroidism simply implies excessive thyroid gland function. So both are not synonymous, but they are used interchangeably. So this point should be kept in mind. Now causes, common causes, that is 95% of cases of hyperthyroidism or thyrotoxicosis are due to Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disease. Second cause is multinodular goiter, which is also common. Then solitary thyroid nodule may be there. That is due to the presence of these nodules, the gland become hyperactive and produces more thyroxine in the blood. Rare causes are thyroiditis, pituitary tumors, drugs like amiodarone, and ovarian teratome. Now, clinical features. General clinical features are skin is usually warm and moist due to vasodilatation. There is plumber's nails, that is retraction of nail from its bed when fingers are examined is seen. Dermopathy is seen there. Dermopathy means there is some pathological change on the skin. This change is called pedu-orange. That means the skin looks like the peel of orange. Pretibial myxedema is common. Alopecia and vitiligo is also common symptom. Then there is lid lag and proptosis. Proptosis means exophthalmos. That means there is protrusion of eyeballs within the orbit, and this is due to push from behind due to increase in retrobulbar fat or edema or cellular infiltration, and this all occur due to the excessive production of thyroxine hormone in the blood. So this result in prominence of eyeball, staring look, retraction of the eyelids, and clear visibility of the upper and lower sclera. So this sign is called exophthalmos or proptosis of eyes. Now another clinical feature is hyperdefecation. That means frequency of bowel and amount of bowel is usually increased. Nervousness and irritability, insomnia are general features. There may be congestive cardiac failure in long-standing cases. Weight loss is seen despite of increased appetite, and there is heat tolerance. Patient generally avoids a hot climate and hot environment. Now, moving on to investigations. The main investigations which are done are serum free T3 and T4 levels, which are usually seen elevated. Serum thyroid stimulating hormone level is not detectable, which shows that there is hyperactiveness of the gland. Thyroid uptake of radioiodine is increased. Thyroid stimulating immunoglobulin is marker of Graves' disease, and usually this is a common condition. Then thyroid stimulating hormone receptor antibody is seen in 75% of patients of Graves' disease. Thyroid scan with radioactive iodine is useful in case of nodular goiter. So these are the investigations which are usually done Now, treatment. The basic treatment is done under emergency conditions when there is some conditions of thyroiditis, like in case of Graves' disease. So here immediate control of symptoms is achieved by propranolol in the dose of 40 mg per 6 hours orally. Long-term control can be done by use of anti-thyroid drugs, radioiodine, and surgery. Anti-thyroid drug which is generally used is carbimazole. Then radioiodine is useful in cases of post-menopausal women and elderly men. Surgery is indicated only after thyrotoxic crisis has been controlled. The indications for surgery are presence of large goiter causing stridor or dysphagia or non-response from medical treatment. So if we talk about the outline of the management of thyrotoxicosis, so basically anti-thyroid drugs which are used, as I have told, carbimazole. Another drugs are propyl thyro, uracil, iodide, potassium perchlorate, etc. So while diminishing the toxicity, these drugs increase the size and vascularity of the thyroid gland, and carbimazole is commonly used drug. Then radioactive iodine, which is used, is usually 5 to 10. Iodine 131 is given orally, and it may be repeated at 12 weeks. Indications is usually patient should be of age greater than 40 years. Toxicity due to drugs or relapse after surgery if present there, and if there is thyrotoxic heart disease, then radioactive iodine is indicated. Contraindications are pregnancy and lactation and in children. Surgery is done, usually there is subtotal thyroidectomy is done. Another general measures which should be adopted in case of hyperthyroidism are good nutritious diet. Then propranolol is used up to the dose of 160 mg per day. It alleviates palpitation, tremor, sweating, and lid retraction. So propranolol is an important drug. Then it is contraindicated in cases of congestive cardiac failure, heart block, bronchial asthma, and in diabetic patients. If there is thyroid eye disease or there are excessive symptoms regarding eye, then low salt diet and diuretics are given with elevation of the head and at night to reduce orbital edema. Tinted glass are used to reduce lacrimation, and 1% methyl cellulose and 5% guanidine eye drop are advised. Prednisolone is given in dose of 30 to 120 mg per day with or without cyclosporine in cases of malignant exophthalmos. External irradiation or lateral tarsorrhaphy to prevent exposure keratitis is done. If there is dermopathy, that is pretibial myxedema, then the drugs which are prescribed are usually topical corticosteroids, ultraviolet radiations, and hyaluronidase or triamcinolone, which is intralesional injection. So these are the general management of thyrotoxicosis which is advised. Now, one important differential diagnosis which is usually done in cases of thyrotoxicosis condition. There are two problems or two disease. One is Graves' disease and another is toxic multinodular goiter, which should be differentially diagnosed for correct treatment. So Graves' disease is usually a disease of young age and it is common in females. Goiter is usually diffuse, firm and smooth, and eye signs are usually common. There may be dermopathy. Severity of thyrotoxicosis is usually moderate to severe. Atrial fibrillation is a very common symptom and causes autoimmune, and it may be combined with or associated with some other autoimmune disease also. And the treatment of choice is drug therapy. That means Graves' disease can be controlled with the use of drug. Whereas in cases of toxic multinodular goiter, usually the patient is of old age. It is also common in females. The goiter is usually nodular, firm, and having irregular surface. Eye signs are uncommon. Dermopathy does not occur in this case. Severity of thyrotoxicosis is mild to moderate. Atrial fibrillation is common here, and the cause is autonomous, and in this case medical treatment is not advisable. Surgery or radioactive iodine is the only treatment which is done in case of toxic multinodular goiter. So these are two diseases which should be considered while treatment, because they both have different line of treatments. So this was all about regarding hyperthyroidism, which is an endocrinal disease. In next lecture series, we will discuss some another endocrinal disease. Thank you. Have a nice day.